ekene m ụnụ nke onye chiri ya zelu amụọwa akpa na akpa na asụkwụọ anyị abịago ọzọ tata. Ihe onyonyo m chọrọ ime bụ ọ ya rụtụ aka n'ọtụtụ ihe. Ọ ya dị m mma na unu ya kpọọ ụmụnne anyị ndị ọzọ bịanụ na ọnwa efe ndị anyị chọrọ ịrụtụsi aka. Ihe o mere na ihe onyonyo ahụ bụ na ọ nọ na-ekwu okwu ọjọọ against onye ndu. Ọ naghị ekwu ya very direct. Ebe ahụ ka ọ na-ekwucha na that particular program ka ọ na-ekwu na ọ naghị afịa ahụ na akpọba mmadụ onye amụma prophet ma wokwe prophet. I don't know if you remember. Ebe ahụ ọ sị gị ọ naghị afịa ahụ na akpọba mmadụ a prophet. That program ọ dị ka nchọta gị isiokwu that topic so that you can go back. In that particular place, that particular program, he told us that there is need for us to stop following Israel. Yes. That there is need to stop following Israel. Because after Mohammed Abbas on a position, o ihe mere m ji wee cheta ya chọọ ime ihe onyonyo a. Ịma ndị be anyị sịkwa na ọkwa na onye bụ igu ka ewu na-eso. Ka hapụgodu nnọọ, let us pretend as if the history of anyị nwe trace, anyị nwe ife gbakọsị ife jikọrọ anyị na ndị Jew. Ka hapụgodu ya n'ụsọ, which is not something very valid, which even there na ana Igbo ebe anyị si na ebe anyị si n'obu gad there ihe akpụrụ akpụrụgoro over 3,000 years. Ihe eji ajọcha kpụọ bụ gad ka bụkwa the same image of the gad nọkwa na picture nọ na Israel as the tribe, one of the 12 one of ụmụ Jacob. Mana ndị a si Chinasa Muslim si anyị esozi na ha. Onwe ihe mfu na platform ji chọọ mma, like I want to share it with our fellow Biafrans who might not be very privileged to belong in any Biafran platform. In fact, there are a lot of things I will share. But let me start by showing you that particular topic. Ebem treated this thing before now in this Biafran Republic, what do you call it? This BRF TV, Biafran Radical Freedom TV. I want to share that topic. I want to show you the topic so that later maybe you can go back and check it. It's about 6 months ago. So I will scroll until I get to 6 months ago. Can you tell the topic so that maybe later you go and watch it? Shina Sangoru. I'm close to it now. I will even show, I think I'll have to play it to show you a little, okay? Then, so that when you are watching it, you might know that topic. I am now here in 6 months ago, yes. The betrayal of Onyendu MNK by DOS criminals. I think this is it. Let me play it small. It should be it. It should be this. The betrayal of Onyendu by the DOS criminals. I trust it's this one. Can play a little because
I am not a prophet, but I'm telling you what is about to happen. Don't call me a prophet because I'm a prophet. Prophet. Now he said, don't call me a prophet or no be because of that I feel that I'm a prophet. Please, if you
Then
understand
see this from the camera. You can see
please, on the
the.
comment section, make you tell me. Other feel that who that power mother prophet praise when mother. Envy, bitterness, jealousy. This man have always jealous Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. Very unfortunate that we saw ourselves in this situation.
Now, Unafuga. Then later on you can watch it. Let me continue with the program. Then Eba na kono gwano osi that we should stop following Israel and start following Ndina Isinana. The reason that to start with, that Israel doesn't even have the military might, that they are not even strong enough, that all these things, so propaganda and all of that. And that Israel never for once helped us. And that Nnamdi Kanu said he went to Israel, that he was, he was never accepted, welcomed in Israel and all of that. So we made a lot of argument to dislodge them, to prove them wrong. With Onyendu's broadcast, several broadcasts over there. So, but then, even Oremejus did a very good job there too, that period. So now, I want to go to the platform. I don't know where I kept. Then I want to go to one of our platforms where I saw something that motivated me to do this program. And that is, there are a lot of other things I will show in this particular clip. And also, I think in one of our platforms too, it was shared how TB Joshua prophesied about Iheneme between Iran now and in the Middle East and Israel. Now, listen to what Israel that China Sanguru said we should stop following. The civilization that the world is enjoying today. Yeah, good evening, Oga 404. Oga 404. Okay, I greet you, sir. I greet you, sir. Very important because I want to say something. I've been trying to see how I can share this. How I can share a link so that people actually be live with me can come, but I have not been able to do that. Gino Delica, thank you. Thank you. You okay? Are you a man or a woman? You like what you're seeing? So come here. If you're an enemy, just come and sit under our teaching. Maybe you will be liberated from Mojo. I am trying Mojo. I not try Mojo eba. Do you know the liquor? I try Mojo. Okay. I want to set something before we continue. All right. So when China Sangoru told us that Nnamdi Kanu was never there, we told him that it's either na ọ na-enwe nsogbu n'ụbụrụ ya ma ọ na-ekwensu ejigo ya kwara ngwa ọrụ totally. And some people were not angry by the way we responded to him. But we never mind. Why is it posing enigmatic? Hey, Nimad. Yes, good evening, sir. My name is Akabike, okay. Onodugo, Akabike. I greet you one them. Keke me kwa dem ma. Kwa no ya brother. Ihe nkuzi anyị chọrọ ikuzi tata, anyị chọrọ ka hey, Nzama people are liking to no. It's not where I'm going to. Oh, I'm trying to say ihe so that I'll happy na akofu. Now I have something to share with us. I have what to share with us. Israel has been proven the fastest growing, the hub of the modern day civilization in all round, in the technology world, in all round productivity. And I na-eso bụ onye ji igu ka ewu na-eso oive ndị be anyị kwuru. Why Biafrans are following Israel? Is pro-Israel. As convinced by its leaders. See for yourself. Okay. All right. We are in here now. The topic now, I just gave it a topic. Greetings. Fresh KD, you are welcome. So now this is why we are trying to follow the side of Israel because of the civilization and the Jewish blood and every other reasons that we might not be able to capture here in this program today, but they are real. Now see how a president understands his government, understand his state, understand how to make progress, appreciate those who are making progress, encourage others who are in the pipeline. See Benjamin Netanyahu telling the world how Israel is the light of the world that cannot be joked with. Because almost all the principal things that you enjoy today is where it is, it is headquartered. Now listen to him.
But the good news doesn't stop merely with Israel's strong military. It continues with Israel's strong economy. It's a tremendously strong economy. And I'll tell you, we made it stronger by moving Israel to free market principles, which unleashed the spark of genius embedded in our people into innovation, entrepreneurship. And there's a revolution taking place. This couldn't happen at the better time. Look at the 10 leading companies in 2006.
Now, are you
5
seeing?
energy companies, one IT company, Microsoft. And a mere 10 years later, 2016, a blink of an eye in historical terms. It's completely reversed. 5 IT companies, one energy company left. The true wealth
Okay.
is in innovation.
All right.
You
Let me
know
show
these
you.
companies later.
Before I will even comment on, let me read some of these things. He mentioned them. Maybe it's not very clear from my speaker. From 2006, they were already the largest economy, because from every angle of human life, agricultural, technology, every angle, research institutes, every given angle, even the social media we enjoy today. So he is telling you, in case you don't know, the people that these animals want us to follow, they don't have any of these things. They don't have anything that, as we speak today, even the shell, the oil companies we talk about today, the ones that you even give some other countries, it is even theirs. So that means if we finally succeed with them, we stand to benefit a whole lot. For those who want to condemn them for not knowing what they stand for, there is something I want to tell you in this platform today. There are some countries in this world that have the interest of their people at heart so very well. Israel is one of those. It is not whether it is Christian or Muslim, no. It is nothing. It doesn't have to do with these things we talk about, Christian and Muslim. These things doesn't really hold any tangible water. Because the truth is, there are Christian countries that have been causing trouble in the world. They have been destabilizing because of they just want to advance their own national or selfish interest, because sometimes it's not in the interest of their own citizens. This same thing as we have it in the Christian country, nations of the world, we have it also in the Arabic world, in the Islamic world. In that same Christian world, we have those who are very, very good-hearted, that have the interest of their citizens at heart. We have some in the Arab world. I know I can mention Israel now, as a Jewish nation, has of course, okay, we can say the only Jewish nation. They have the priority of Israel, Israel state, the state of Israel, is the well-being, the welfare of their citizens. That is why their wealth is channeled to enhancing good life for their citizens. In the Arab world, countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like United Arab Emirates, especially United Arab Emirates, the citizens, everything they build is around their citizens. They want to make sure, and that is why they stand for peace. They are against anything terror. They are against anything violence. If you want to do that, even if you are their Arab brothers, you cannot do it in their territory. You cannot. Almost the same thing applies to states like Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, if maybe I can't remember how many times they support terror, because they are civilized. That is the same thing you have in states like Oman. I can't remember ever having Oman supporting terror. So I can't remember. Oman, I have never, the same way I have never heard from UAE. UAE has made it very open. If you must come to bring anything violence and terror in their territory, you must live in peace. You must leave. They will ban your country from coming. That is the same thing that you see from some other European countries like Finland. That is why we are very well pleased with Finland. That is why you see, when nations begin to divert, what this program today, we have a reason for it. Why we are following Israel and why the DOS are fighting us that we should stop projecting Israel, we should stop showing Israeli flag. We have our reason. The reasons are so numerous. Of course, they are not begging you. but because we know that there is something good about it. Now, if you go through this, if you continue to listen, I'll still play it, but I have to make this remark. There was a particular program that the Israeli Prime Minister did also some few days ago. He was advising Iran. He said Iran is supposed to divert their resources, use their resources to giving a very living standard to their people. The Iranian government should not be involved in investing whatever they have. That they don't have a very strong economy like Israel. And yet the one they have, they use it in just building weapons of mass destruction. That Israel have weapons and they have never used weapons against any nation of the world. They have never ever used what they have to attack anybody. Rather, they have these things for defensive reasons. And everybody knows this is just the truth. This is just the truth. Some people said the Arab nations that you see that are not doing these things is because they don't have weapons, they don't have... That is not true. That is not true. When you talk about going into conventional Inuara, in the modern day, it is a product of having a strong economy. And these other Arab nations that I'm mentioning, their economies are even the richest, one of the richest in the world. They are among the richest in the world. They don't go into conflict, they don't go into violence because they know that the world is a better place when peace is prevailing. They know that their people will not have a better life in the reign of terror. I'm always happy, interested whenever and wherever Biafra news is on. Okay. Discussing about it cause and one of those persons that are pregnant for Biafra, why it's a spirit that no one can stop. Thank you very much. Akadike Moses, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, this is our cause. It is our cause. It is our own. Nobody will do it for us. It is only us. It is only us. Only we can do it for ourselves. So now, like I am saying, I want to correct the impression. Those people, I have had serious arguments that was even almost leading to a confrontation. Thank you, brother. God's will, Peter. Yes, good evening from here. Good evening. God bless you. Yeah, good evening, brother from Holland. Thank you for Joseph. Welcome, okay, Ofoke Joseph. Them, Ndagimere. Ofoke is supposed to be is or Afiku name. So, brother, outside there, Kisi. Ofoke is either Iza or Afiku. And Iza, it should be Iza towards Iza Omogara. Oh, okay, yes, okay, Izi. Okay. So you understand that I am a very real Biafran. I don't even speak Akwa Ibom language like I do speak Igbo, and I don't even know Akwa Ibom notes and cranny like I know the Igbo communities. So thank you, because we are one. We are vying for our freedom, and that we must get in as long as Chokika Abiyama still is in throne. We must prevail. So now, for those of them, I told you I had confrontations with people. They were arguing, when you say Saudi Arabia is not going for war, it's because they don't have the might. When you see Oman is not going, because that is fallacy. These people have in their arsenal what you don't even imagine. They don't boast of it. When you value your citizens, whatever you have should just be for their own safety. Whatever you have should only be to defend them. And if there is no cause for using them, you don't need to use them. And some nations, it happens in the Christian communities, Christian countries, it happens in Arab countries. They just want to, whenever maybe the ones they have is expiring, They want to see where they just use it at all cost. We know Christian countries that you call superpower are doing it. And that is why we are not always too proud to identify with some people. The world is a better place with all of us respecting ourselves. When some people come to blame Israel, that I asked all of them, can you remember the very day Israel attacked any country or any people, if not for defense? When we are talking about two-state system, everybody want to have a Palestine have their own state. Everybody who is civilized knows that it is the best thing to have Palestine have their own state. But that cannot happen now, like this moment now. The terrorist organization that is causing pain to the innocent citizens of Palestine, they must be uprooted. That is the fact. If you give that state to them right now, in this present condition, they will not be totally in charge. The civilian regime will not be totally in charge. These terrorist organizations will be in charge because you have not smoked them out totally. You need to obliterate them from the very tap root. They must be rooted out entirely, because anything you give them, imagine that the food that is brought by the United Nations Commission, by the UN agency, the food that they are bringing, Hamas still come to steal it. What are you fighting for? What is your gain? What are you fighting for? You have ended up risking the lives of innocent people. How many are you in number? But the millions of innocent people are suffering it. Anywhere there is war, anywhere there is conflict, it is innocent people that are most at the receiving end. Because of course, if they are not directly, if their life is not affected directly, their daily comfort, you inconvenience them. Check somebody that you erase his house. How would that person wake up and go to work in the morning? He should be scattering for his safety first. That is why it is not good for anybody to support what is not good. If Israel is doing what is wrong, I am a very, very liberal person. I will condemn Israel, because I condemn my own people when they do wrong things. But every time you see Israel, they are only trying to defend. They are only trying to defend. Again, people are clapping that Iran struck. And tomorrow when Israel retaliates, they will say, no, and you know Israel must retaliate. There is nothing on earth you will do now to stop them from retaliating. And innocent people will be affected. That is, if you want to be a leader, make sure you control your temperament. Make sure you have a very good understanding. Make sure you can run your own family first. You don't use just high temperament to run a family, a home, let alone a state, a nation state, so to say. That's why I told those persons that said, I have traveled. I have traveled. We have seen that some people, you think they are not, because they are not making noise. Their economy can sponsor anything, You don't go into conventional warfare without having good money. Even if people want to support you, you need to also have your own first. Saudi Arabia is very rich. Saudi Arabia is stinkingly rich. United Arab Emirates is stinkingly rich. Those people you see that are causing trouble cannot stand them if they want to go into that. They cannot, they dare not. You acquire those modern facilities with money. They have it in abundance. The modern facilities to do all these things, if this is what they are, because they have sane leaders, civilized leaders. You know, you think civilization is when somebody maybe he becomes a Christian country, then he's no. Far. You don't need to be a Christian state to be civilized. Most civilized, from my own judgment of civilization, is sometimes it's even from this part of the world that I'm talking about now. Because you will hear some people that are having human rights, They are practicing human rights. We are human rights countries. We are human rights country. We are. At the end of the day, what they practice is worse than witchcraft. The human right is there on paper. In reality, it's a joke. In this other part of the world, they even value human life. When you talk about human rights, is it not surrounded around protection of people's rights and their safety? So when you don't have your safety, what rights do you have? And somebody now said that when I don't know if you have that video. I should have it, but it might take me some time. Where Benjamin Netanyahu was advising Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, was advising Iran. He said, use your money, the money you use in sponsoring war, use it to give a better life to the Iranian citizens. Use it to give better life to the citizens. They need it. Your economy is not around the best. Your economy, your currency is not anywhere found good. Why are you now investing everything you have on warfare? Is it necessary? If they call Hamas, your name is there. If they call Hezbollah, your name is there. If they call the Houthis, your name is there. If they call ISIS, Abba, waiting. And somebody wants us to get that kind of orientation when we are looking for a peaceful human environment. These things you do, if children unborn generations keep on with this, you should know that the generation that will pick up will do greater than you have done. So how will the world be in the next 20 years? That is why what you should be considering. And somebody say, oh, some of these nations you call, they will even, some of the nations you are mentioning, when you see they are even supporting Iran, they are not supporting anything. They are advocating for peace. It is their region. The what do you call it? The Israeli neighbor that is in question, the Palestine. These are their brothers too. You don't expect them to say, oh, Israel, come do the West them do. They cannot do that because they are peace-loving people. Yes, somebody say, oh, all those countries, Saudi Arabia you are mentioning, you are expecting Saudi Arabia to say, oh, Israel, go and fight. How can they do that? Because there are innocent population that we are talking about here. The safety of the innocent population is what matters to them more. They did not say, and I have not heard Saudi Arabia any day say or saying that, or even United Arab Emirates, or saying that they are supporting what Hamas is doing. They never did. They don't also need to tell Israel, keep up, just strike them. They cannot tell Israel to strike them. Oh, thank you, brother Uzuka. Stella, one them. Thank you. Stella, here I know today is because about ihe Chinasa Nworu na-ekwu. Chinasa Nworu said we should Chinasa Nwa slave. We should we should abandon Israel. We should never show Israel flag again, because some of those nations like Iran who want to support us, they will not come to support us because we are showing Israeli flag and all of that. And that's what he said in that video. I've shared the topic here where I did the program. I did that program 6 months ago. And the caption is how the DOS betrayed. Just maybe after this program, you can go to it and see it, where he said it. I picked it from his program. Yes, God bless you. God bless you too. So now, we are telling them why we are following Israel is that Israel is a peace-loving people. The Israelis are peace-loving people. They have ngwara enough, but they don't use it to attack anybody. They use these things for the safety. Every nation that must be a nation, every country that is ready to be a country, you must have the equipment to protect your citizens. Of course, thank you, Random And them Zion Eagle. Biafra stands with Israel, intact, intact. And we keep on discouraging Iran, and we keep advocating for peace. Iran, you should use your resources to give better life to your citizens. If your tools for protection of your citizens, if it wants to expire, allow it to expire. You must not find a way to just use it before it expires, because we found out that that is what some nations do. You must not find a way to use it on human before it expires. Let it expire. Get new one. Get new one. There must be loss. Let it not be loss of human life. That's what matters. And again, I think, okay, let me play on.
2016, a blink of an eye in historical terms. It's completely reversed. 5 IT companies, 1 energy company left. The true wealth is in innovation. You know these companies, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook. Guess what? They all have research centers in Israel. All of them, major research centers.
Okay, you heard what he said? He said that he, Benjamin Netanyahu, doesn't tell people fairy tales. That he is telling you what is real. That all these companies, the leading companies in the world, the research institute, just found 110 billion barrels of oil in the Somalian coast. Turkey just found, wow. Okay, so now the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is saying that Israel is very, very capable. That when you see Israel acquiring or having these military facilities, that it's not because they just want to have. That is just born of necessity. That Israel values its citizens first. And because of that, they are building their economy to be the top notch in the world. And today, that what it is just between 2006 to 2011, where Israel got itself. Israel is on the top of the world in terms of the economy, in all ratings. That you talk about the social media, you talk about the research institutes, you talk about the Apple, the technology world, you talk about agriculture, he was enumerating them. And including the multinational firms you do here, ExxonMobil and all of that, here in Israel headquartered. So you can see why we want to, why we follow Simon Ekpa, our prime minister, is because he has solution to our problem. The same reason is the same reason why we are following him is just because he has that, and our supreme leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu saw this thing in him before us, and he told us we must follow him, and we are seeing those things. Our supreme leader also saw the Israel that Simon Ekpa is following today. Our supreme leader also saw it before now, and we are following it. This same Israel that China Sanworu told us has never supported us, has never been with us, never liked us, don't even know that we exist. They were the same people that come with the same Finland that we are following today to support us. They brought first aid, they brought food stop, they gave us shelter, they clothed us during the 1967-1970 Nigerian Biafran Civil War. 28 says, curses for those who curse Israel. Okay, thank you, brother. So that's still Sister Stella. Yes, that the book of Deuteronomy said that Anama goes in na gozi my people, ndina gozi ndimbu Israel. Anama bundi ndina kochaha. Anama bu hono. Abuom hono. Let us hear.
And they're not alone. There are hundreds more. And there's a reason. Something is going on. It's a great change. You want to hear jargon? It's one sentence. This is a terrible sentence, but I have no other way to say it. It's the confluence of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence, okay? Did you get that? You know what that does? It revolutionizes old industries and it creates entirely new industries. So here's an old industry that Israel was always great at, agriculture. We're always good at.
Are you hearing? The Israel scientists, they are already with the blueprints. In fact, they are already with the results of how to revolutionize all industries to the modern. Maybe from next year, they are revolutionizing everything, including the agriculture. Now they are a part of that. In fact, that we speak, the researchers, the Israeli research agro-allied researchers, they are up with the results where every crop will have its own fertilizer, so that maybe a crop that with the old fertilizing system that produces within 8 months, they will now produce maybe within 1 month, and they'll still be very healthy for consumption. Are you hearing that? And all the robotics too. You hear now that maybe sometime when they want to confront people, they don't even come. Human being may not be confronting those people again. It might just become just robots. You face robots.
Good in agriculture. But now we have precision agriculture. You know what that is? See that drone in the sky? It's connected to a big database.
I see
And
something.
there's sensors in the field. And in the field, there's drip irrigation and drip fertilization. And now we can target with this technology the water that we give, the fertilizer that we give.
Some seed, some crop will grow in the sky, and that they will make it work because they are already up with it. Some crop will grow in the sky, maybe using some water, I don't know, water under it or something. I don't know how it will be done. They know better. I am even seeing Tamacool, some of these products, they are there advertising.
Down to the individual plant that needs it. That's precision agriculture. That's Israel. Unbelievable. You know, we were always good in water. I want you to see how good we are. So we recycle almost 90% of our wastewater. The next country with less than 20% is Spain. You can see how Israel, what it does for water.
In the world record, Israel refined up to 90% of water. The next person in record is Spain, and Spain is about 19 points. Israel is 90, and Spain is 19 points, 90 to 19. You see the distance? Okay.
What it does for the environment. So when you take these two things, agriculture and water, and the other technologies that we apply in both, we can change the world. We are. We are. I just heard about an African woman in Africa has to walk 8 hours a day to give water to her children. 4 hours one way to a well, 4 hours back. And a young Israeli company brought in this technology. In America, everywhere. These are the old industries. Metal farm there in a place where Israel gives technology know-how to Indian farmers. 65% of India's population are.
Okay, that's today. Why the Indian PM Modi is very, very close to him, because he see him as a very good friend. Because the man comes close to Israel. The Indian president comes close to him, and the Indians enjoy the proceed of the relationship between their prime minister and the Israeli prime minister. The man gets good things, takes it home. For those of you in the criminal DOS echelon who are listening to China's and one slave telling you to follow the path of Iran, What do you want to give to your people? Although you people are not into the freedom fight for real. But had it been you are into the freedom fight, how can you did not see any other people to go to? And you see people light, that America, you heard him. That America don't want to joke with them. America, don't want to joke with them. That you see America giving their unflinching support to them because America keep telling you this is our ally, this is our partner, this is our ally. Each in America amara fair. Each in America amara fair. America don't go where they don't have very tangible benefits. That is why they are on top. Because they use their brain. And somebody is advocating, telling Biafran people to follow the Obummadu and leave progressives. Let us hear him.
Our farmers. And one farmer after the other gets up and says, because of Israeli technology, I've increased my crop yields and my income 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Israel is changing the world in India, in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, everywhere.
I hope you're hearing him.
These are the old industries. Now they're new industries. Israel is literally, how can I say this? Israel is literally driving the world. I'm talking about autonomous vehicles. Israel is a world leader in autonomous vehicles. 500 tech companies that sprang out almost instantaneously.
That's a fact.
And one of them, Mobileye, up there on the left, was just sold to Intel for the paltry sum of $15 billion.
Locomotive.
But the interesting thing is that Intel said to them, here are the keys to our 30 worldwide autonomous vehicle businesses. You run it. Israeli technology is driving the world.
Are you hearing that? That is the technology they gave to this.
And one last thing. One
So
more
did
that you're all
15
familiar
billion
with. You have bank accounts? You should. Okay. Well, you don't want anyone hacking into them, right? Or into your cars, or into the planes you ride. You need cyber security. Everybody needs cyber. Israel has become a world leader in cyber security. Look at how much they invest in the hundreds of Israeli startup companies. Tremendous companies. But here's another factor that you should know. Israel's population is how much? Who knows? Class? 8 million. It's closer to 9, but it's about between 8 and 9 million. That's correct. What percentage of that is of the world?
Una negekwa. Israel, the whole of Israel, is just 8 to 9 million people. It's 8 points. Narrow escape from 9 million. And you see the kind of massive economy. Anambra State is almost Israel population. Anambra alone. Anambra is almost Israel population. And I be Eriaka. What we have, we don't even know. Fulani is in charge. We need to have our state and we make our alliances rightly. Make our alliances. You will see Israel, boom, boom. The way we will grow, it will be to the shock of the world. Boom. Everybody's hands must be on deck. You must support what we are doing. You must support what we are doing. Because God wants to use us to liberate Africa. Support what we are doing so that we will be liberated. Africa must be liberated. And it's coming from us. When Israel comes in, we already have the raw materials, the human resources in abundance. We need just guidance. We need just guidance, maybe about 6 years guidance, and we are on top of the world. You know that. Stop entertaining any fear. What has Ubudo Anomanua, what has it got to give you? Misery. Nothing but that.
World's population? Oh, come on. It's 1/10 of 1%. So, what percentage do we get of the world global investment in cybersecurity, in private investment in cybersecurity? We're 1/10 of 1% of the world's population, and we get a whopping 20% of global private investment in cyber.
Are you hearing that?
We're punching.
Their population is not any percentage, in fact, in the world population. Their population is not anywhere. In fact, they don't have any percentage of the world population, so to say. But they alone, only them have a percent, 20% of the global cyber security. And today, the world is run by the cyber security. Anybody who have a very good chunk of the cyber security access and control is the leader. And una amara America ji no si ike. Nwannem Hamilton Luma. Nwanne ndewo. From here, I always like your programs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will stop playing this here. Let me show you some other things. Because a lot of people still believe that Israel is at fault. Israel is at fault in this whole Middle East challenge. Then I want to show you something so that you will rethink again and come with a new judgment. You know, there is something that Elon Musk said some days ago. He said that he was one of those who was hating on Donald Trump. In fact, in the last election, he made sure he campaigned against him amongst his friends, convinced people that that guy is a clown and all of that. But it was after the election, it was done on him that he had to keep away the Western media and face the reality. And he saw that that guy was blackmailed, and people like him became instruments in the hands of those people who were blackmailing him. That is why today he has come in. In fact, he practically came physically in Donald Trump's campaign, because he said he wants to rewrite the error, the things he did ignorantly against the man, the innocent man. That truly it is Donald Trump that has the interests of Americans at heart. That is Elon Musk. Maybe I should also play that for you. It must not be now. Let me first of all show you what I have in stock. Let me show you what I have in stock. Okay, listen up.
A few months later, the Arab League met in Sudan and issued its infamous 3 nodes of their own. And not just once, but on 5 separate occasions. If Israel just allowed the Palestinians to have a state of their own, there would be peace in the Middle East, right? That's what you hear from UN ambassadors.
Do you hear the question? Because everybody is now saying, oh, Israel should allow Palestine to have a state of their own. They should allow Palestine to have a state of their own. Because if they allow them now, there will be no problem again in the Middle East. That region will have peace permanently. It's because Israel don't want them to have the state of their own. That is why there is no peace. Now this man wants you to hear the truth. I did a program about this today, maybe within 2 months ago. I am very sure I did a program where I mentioned the dates when opportunity were given before the creation of the Israel state, before 1948. From 1946, they have been the United Nations wedded in. The first Britain wedded in. The next was UN, because it was after the Second World War. They wedded in, and all the attempts to have this was proven abortive by these same people that are benefiting, the same people that are calling for this same state, Jordan. Because if you followed the UN General Assembly, the 69th, the 79th session, you will hear where the king of Jordan and his likes were saying these things. They were saying, "Hey, allow Israel, allow." It was the same them, the king of Jordan, the Jordan people, because they were benefiting alongside Egypt and Egypt. I think basically them. I think there were three that were benefiting from the disagreement or the conflict. When they were from here, I always like your program. Okay, I think I did read that before now. Now continue to listen.
If Israel just allowed the Palestinians to have a state of their own, there would be peace in the Middle East, right? That's what you hear from UN ambassadors, European diplomats, and most college professors. But what if I told you that Israel has already offered the Palestinians a state of their own? Not just once, but on 5 separate occasions. Don't believe it? Let's review the record. After the breakup of the Ottoman Empire following World War I, Britain took control of most of the Middle East, including the area that constitutes modern Israel. 17 years later, in 1936, the Arabs rebelled against the British and against their Jewish neighbors. The British formed a task force, the Peel Commission, to study the cause of the rebellion. The commission concluded that the reason for the violence was that 2 peoples, Jews and Arabs, wanted to govern the same land. The answer, the Peel Commission concluded, would be to create 2 independent states, one for the Jews and one for the Arabs, a 2-state solution. The suggested split was heavily in favor of the Arabs. The British offered them 80% of the disputed territory, the Jews the remaining 20%. Yet, despite the tiny size of their proposed state, the Jews voted to accept this offer. But the Arabs rejected it and resumed their violent rebellion. Rejection number 1.
Okay, you heard that? Rejection number 1. That's 1960. That's 1946. I think that's around 1946. I did not see this documentary then. I have the other materials which are still available. You can see that from online. There are many sources. Since when UN and other Western nations tried to mediate between this Palestinian issue with Israel and mediating this issue, and who always thwarted it to the point that a solution was given. Okay, 1937, my brother, first agreement offered. You see, I am even wrong because I started from 1946. So from 1937, and I think I can even validate this. Yes, I can validate this from 1937. Yes. And why I remember that one of 1946 is that it was 2 years to the declaration of Israeli state. In fact, it was because of the continual crisis that Israel had to come forth, and the UN had to approve of it very fast. Because offers were made. Okay, Israel even accepted when these people, due to the troublesomeness, Britain said, "Oh yeah, take greater percentage." They refused. When UN now came again and said, "Okay, take 80% of the land. Let Israel take only 20%." Israel said, "Okay, I'm very comfortable with that. Let peace reign." They still said no. When I'm talking about they, who are they? Who are those they? Who are this they? It's Jordan. It's Egypt. It's Iran. At a point, I think Iraq came in. Was it Iraq? Let me not bring Iraq. But Jordan, I know for sure. Egypt, I know for sure. And all this Lebanon, I think, has been very peaceful people. Lebanon has been very peaceful. And it was Yasser Arafat that was always, cooking up all this. It was Yasser Arafat. Let us continue to listen.
Offer. But the Arabs rejected it and resumed their violent rebellion. Rejection number 1. 10 years later, in 1947, the British asked the United Nations to find a new solution to the continuing tensions. Like the Peel Commission, the UN decided that the best way to resolve the conflict was to divide the land. In November 1947, the UN voted to create 2 states. Again, the Jews accepted the offer, and again, the Arabs rejected it. Only this time, they did so by launching an all-out war. Rejection number 2. Jordan, Egypt, Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria joined the conflict, but they failed. Israel won the war and got on with the business of building a new nation. Most of the land set aside by the UN for an Arab state, the West Bank and East Jerusalem, became occupied territory. Occupied not by Israel, but by Jordan. 20 years later, in 1967, the Arabs led this time.
Okay, let me put him right. The occupied territory, the Jerusalem and West Bank, the east and the north of the land. The east, the north was occupied. I think the east was occupied by Egypt. It was not just Jordan. It was between Jordan and Egypt. Because I read this very deeply. It was Jordan and Egypt. They were just grappling. The essence of all this incitement, there are people, from the onset, from even the beginning of this program, I really always acknowledge that there has never been a time there was tension from the real citizens, from the ordinary citizens of the Palestinians, the ordinary Palestinians. That's what I mean. Because even the ordinary Palestinians, they don't want this conflict. Ordinary Palestinians don't want you to kill Israel. And the Israeli don't want you to harm ordinary Palestinians. Normally, it has always been just about the terrorists. This 2-state system we are talking about now, Israel wants it. But Israel wants it to be after Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and their affiliates, after they've been erased from that region or within their borders. Because if you do that now, these people will take over. They don't need to exist. They need to be far away, at least. Even if another group will come, let it be after the new state of Palestine. Maybe that the state of Palestine would have, existed for like up to 10 years, and by that, within this period, they should have their leg very strong on the ground. It's not just now at the early stage, and they will take over. Then imagine when the people that are constituting this level of nuisance have a very complete state structure all to themselves. You know what that means? Oh, my brother, Chinenye MC, God bless you. God bless you. You are always doing well. So imagine when you give these terrorists the complete state platform to now use to terrorize the whole region. You think it's going to be a toy in the blood? It's not going to be a toy in the blood. Anybody who thinks that, just hold it a fashion. Because in proxy, somebody is sponsoring them. They are doing this. Using the state instrumentality to be very, very more destructive. So that is why that is Helsing. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let us continue to do the right thing.
East Jerusalem became occupied territory. occupied not by Israel, but by Jordan. 20 years later, in 1967, the Arabs, led this time by Egypt and joined by Syria and Jordan, once again sought to destroy the Jewish state. The 1967 conflict, known as the Six-Day War, ended in a stunning victory for Israel. Jerusalem and the West Bank, as well as the area known as the Gaza Strip, fell into Israel's hands. The government of East Jerusalem became occupied territory, occupied not by Israel, but by Jordan. 20 years later, in 1967, the Arabs, led this time by Egypt and joined by Syria and Jordan, once again sought to destroy the Jewish state. The 1967 conflict, known as the Six-Day War, ended in a stunning victory for Israel. Jerusalem and the West Bank, as well as the area known as the Gaza Strip, fell into Israel's hands. The government split over what to do with this new territory. Half wanted to return the West Bank to Jordan and Gaza to Egypt in exchange for peace. The other half wanted to give it to the region's Arabs, who had begun referring to themselves as the Palestinians, in the hope that they would ultimately build their own state there. Neither initiative got very far. A few months later, the Arab League met in Sudan and issued its infamous 3 no's. No peace with Israel, no recognition of Israel, no negotiations with Israel. Again, a 2-state solution was dismissed by the Arabs.
Are you understanding it? This group of people that keep representing this Arab, from what I know, from what I found out, it's not as if it's all states, all Arab states that come to say this, take this stance. No. It is those that are benefiting that keep rallying people that don't have interest. Syria, I forgot to mention Syria. Syria, Jordan, and Egypt, particularly these 3. They were just the ones doing all this. Because Arab nations are at least I'm sure Arab nations are over 100 or over 80. And how have you seen them? Have you seen how many of them have you seen coming to talk about it? Now, when Israel gave options, even after this 1967, it fell in the hands of Israel. And Israel even was still willing to say, okay, let it not be I want to capture. Today they are telling you Israel want to capture. Capture what? If Israel want to capture, it's already in their hands. They're talking about capture. Capture what? The Gaza Strip is already in their hands. The West Bank, everywhere is in their hands. But that's not their interest. Some people are painting the pictures to support what they are supporting, to sponsor what they are sponsoring. They don't want to occupy anything because they know it will be wrong to do that. And I'm sure if Benjamin tries to occupy, Israel will protest en masse. The Israeli citizens will protest en masse. Unless it gets to the level that it becomes inevitable that they must occupy for a period if this thing doesn't end well as expected. So, but that's not their target. All the time, the persons that have wanted to occupy is these people that are crying wolf. Egypt don't have the face again to come to condemn Israel because their name already casted. Jordan, I was surprised that King of Jordan is bold to speak because they were the ones that have always tried to occupy. But when you look at it from the other way around, they already knew that this arrangement called Palestine, if is concocted by somebody. But in order not to drag issues, let it exist, let it be. They said no. What is the reason they have been giving for all these years they have been turning down the 2-state system? What is the reason? The only reason is that you hear this man mention it. He said they don't want to have any negotiations with the state of Israel. They don't want to talk with Israel. They don't want to negotiate because they must not exist within this land. They must not exist in this border. They must just go. And you see where the problem is coming from now. You see what is the target. So for you who don't know what is the ensuing interest, this is the ensuing interest.
Negotiations with Israel. Again, a two-state solution was dismissed by the Arabs, making this rejection number 3. In 2000, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak met at Camp David with Palestinian Liberation Organization Chairman Yasser Arafat to conclude a new two-state plan. Barak offered Arafat a Palestinian state in all of Gaza and 94% of the West Bank, with East Jerusalem as its capital. But the Palestinian leader rejected the offer. In the words of U.S. President Bill Clinton, Arafat was here 14 days and said no to everything. Instead, the Palestinians launched a bloody wave of suicide bombings that killed over 1,000 Israelis and maimed thousands more on buses, in wedding halls, and in pizza parlors. Rejection number 4. In 2008, Israel tried yet again. Prime Minister Ehud Olmert went even further than Ehud Barak had, expanding the peace offer to include additional land to sweeten the deal. Like his predecessor, the new Palestinian leader, Mahmoud Abbas, turned the deal down. Rejection number 5. In between
Mahmoud Abbas, the leaders all turned down the two-state system. They rejected it for the first time, second time, third, fourth time, and now and again, fifth time.
Between these last two Israeli offers, Israel unilaterally left Gaza, giving the Palestinians complete control there. Instead of developing this territory for the good of its citizens, the Palestinians turned Gaza into a terrorist base from which they have fired thousands of rockets into Israel. Each time Israel has agreed to a Palestinian state, the Palestinians have rejected the offer, often violently. So if you're interested in peace in the Middle East, maybe the answer is not to pressure Israel to make yet another offer of a state to the Palestinians. Maybe the answer is to pressure the Palestinians to finally accept the existence of a Jewish state. I'm David Bragg, Executive Director.
Okay, you understand it? If all the comments that is coming from you, if it's really intended to make peace within the region, what you should do, you should not be telling Israel not to smoke out the people that have been destabilizing. No. It is for you to advise those people that have been responsible for the incitement and who are sponsoring the guys that are striking. It is for you to call them to order. Tell them to stop. Tell them to stop. That their actions are unjustified. They should stop. And then work on their psychology. Work on their viewpoint. Work on their philosophy. That philosophy that Israel must not exist, they should blot it out. They should erase it. They should erase it from their brain. Because it's in as much as this continue, the peace of the world is threatened. Because it's not only any individual that will be affected. It's not any individual country, so to per se. It will have a trickling down effect. It will have a spillover effect. Thank you. Lovers of Freedom, we have already exceeded 1 hour. But I think there is something else I wanted to show us before we finally call it a day. Because we need to treat these things once and for all. We need to treat this once and for all. Now, if you hear from this CNN staff that just, resigned, because she feels that the organization where she is working are complicit. They are taking side with the people that are destabilizing the land. So she had to resign, and hear what she said.
The massacres of children, the slaughter, even the crucifixion of Christian men on crosses. One of the famous city massacres was in the city of the Moor in Lebanon, where they massacred the whole town. This barbarism, this Palestinian barbarism is not new.
She said to the point that if you continue to say, she now tell you that their land, because she's from Lebanon, their land, Lebanon, has been a very peaceful place until some warmongers began to sponsor people to come and destabilize and take away the peace of their land, to fight people who are not fighting them. That's what the lady said. I don't want to be playing this again because I think my time, I'm totally running out of time. I don't like to stay too long. The other program we just finished, it lasted for like 2 hours plus. And I don't think it's a nice idea. All right, till we meet again tomorrow. Onye for tata ka ifu echi. Nyagazie omonem. Peace be unto you.